Uh, bum, 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 bum. I think something's just.
4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Good evening, and I hope you're not deafened by that. And welcome to the show. Now, that was a very strange beginning, and people are thinking, what the bloody hell is this? But it's part of, well, it's Remembrance. It was Remembrance Sunday a couple of weeks ago, and it's the 50th anniversary of the end of World War II. And, and I like what Paul has said. Sounds like Wolverhampton on a normal Tuesday night. Yes. But that is from a film, Paths of Glory, by the late, great Stanley Kubrick. And that scene was filmed in 1957. And it's just brilliant the way it's done. And it puts a lot of modern films into a cocked hat. Now, Monica Schaefer should be joining us soon. I don't know quite what's happened to her, but the person joining me in the studio now is Patrick, all the way from Wisconsin, who is our cheese ambassador and the last Zulu outpost of Wisconsin. Good afternoon, Patrick. I believe it's just gone 2:00 in where you are. Am I correct?
Yes, it's 2:00 now. I just had myself some white cheddar with black truffle in it. It was quite good.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Excellent. Excellent. That's yes. And you now got a cheesy grin on your face. I
I do.
assume. Yes, that's good. And what's by the way? Could we have a weather update on Wisconsin today, please?
Oh, it's beautiful. Sunshine. Hardly. I don't think there's a cloud in the sky right now. It's just
You lucky.
gorgeous day. 7
Really?
Celsius.
We've
Very
got that
nice.
tomorrow, so they say, if you believe what they say. But
What's
down
that?
here, we've
Tomorrow?
got that tomorrow, so they say, if you believe the weather forecast. But today, it's been where I am in Hertfordshire, in Fockham Hall, of course, the separate state. It's been sort of bright overcast with sort of just that's it, bright overcast. And we have Monica now in the studio. Hello, Monica. Hello, are you there, Monica? Can you read us?
Yes. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
And
And
okay, do you want me to turn on You've got your
Yeah,
camera
why
on.
not? Yes, because the thing is, people do love to see my ironing board on the back there and Fred the plumber. I always like that. They're guests every week, and it's so nice, And
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not at my own home. But let me. Warning: you're about to be on stage. Oh dear, what an interesting warning. Turn on camera.
hang
Whoops.
on. Now Nathan said, "Hi, what's it happened to your camera, Eric?" Well,
Am I
everything looks all right.
on?
Yes, you're on. And
Let
can you see
let me
me?
get my earbuds.
Okay. Nathan, what's wrong with my camera? Please tell me,
Oh.
because it looks all right to me. Here we go.
You seem fine to me.
I
Yeah.
have to tell my dog to stop jumping up and down.
I see. Don't worry. It's okay. Rover, sit down, you little sod. What breed is your dog, by the way?
Hang on a second. Let
That's
me
a
get
strange
oriented
breed.
here.
That's a strange breed.
He's
Hang on a second. Let me get orientated. Is that some sort of strange mongrel? Because when I was very, very young, and my uncle always used to have mongrel dogs, and I said, and I was only about 5, and I said to my uncle, "What breed is your dog?" My uncle said, well, his mum was very friendly, rode a motorbike, and went round all the villages and had plenty of friends. And I just imagined this dog on a motorbike. And I was thinking, was it? It wasn't until I was much older I understood what it's on about. But what a polite way of saying it. Yes, his mother had a lot of friends. Anyway, Monica.
okay. You
we've
want to
got
know
Patrick.
about my dog? My dog is a cross between a German Shepherd and an Appenzeller Sennenhund. That's a big mouthful, but that's one of the Swiss mountain dog. It's the smallest of the Swiss mountain dogs. And so this dog is smaller than a German Shepherd, but I would say looks more like the German Shepherd than the Appenzeller Sennenhund. And what that is, it's a region in Switzerland. Appenzeller, I think, is the region, and Sennenhund means it's like a guy who goes up in the meadows in the summer with his sheep or cows, and the dog is there to help. So it's a herding animal.
That's
And
interesting.
I see. Well, let me see if you can see him.
Let's have a look.
He's just laying down there. You see him
Oh, I
just laying
see.
down. He's on the
Yes.
there. He's outside, like on the veranda.
Yeah, I see. That's fantastic. Do I see snow there? Is it snowing?
Yes. Yeah.
You've
Well,
got
it's
snow?
not snowing now, but you do see snow. You're absolutely right. And I'm not
And you're in
right at my
Barnsley at the
own.
moment, aren't you?
Sorry.
You're in Barnsley. You're in Barnsley in the UK, aren't you? No, I'm only joking. You're actually in Canada, over the Pacific side, aren't you? Look on the map and you sort of go 3 inches to the left, basically.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it.
That's it.
That's
I'm in the
that's good. Yeah.
westernmost province of Canada. It's called British Columbia. British Columbia.
British
And
Columbia.
yeah.
Yes. But
So
my dog's got no nose. And people say, "How does it smell?" I said, "Terrible." No, I'm terrible. That's an awful joke. Yeah. Anyway,
is that Patrick on the line? I heard
that's
Patrick.
Patrick. Yes,
Yes.
our ambassador from Wisconsin.
Nice. Hello, Patrick.
Hello,
And hello,
Monica.
Eric. And I apologize for being late. It was all a tizzy trying to get on to their internet
I
here.
understand.
At first, my computer was saying, no, it can't. And then it had to run diagnostics. And I said, oh, this will take a few minutes. And anyway, then I just tried again and I got on.
Well, actually, do you remember that Incredible Hulk chap? Because I tend to turn like him when anybody mentions anything about Microsoft. Because my computer tonight decided about an hour before the show to do an update. Didn't ask me, just did it.
Oh.
I'm getting absolutely sick of Microsoft. It's Windows 10.
Yeah.
And I think they're doing something to Windows 10 to make you push you over to Windows 11. But I am going over to Linux because I'm sick of Windows. I hate Windows with a passion.
Okay. And
Yes.
I've now heard the same thing about um, Mac. Like I'm on a
Mhm.
Mac, and I won't buy another Mac computer because now I've heard that it better to go with something else. But so I don't
Mm.
know. Maybe Linux,
Really?
is that what you're saying is better? I really don't know.
Well, no,
I
Linux is a software, and you can
Oh,
download it free, and it's
Patrick
super.
was going to say something. What
I
were you going to
Yes,
say?
I
sorry?
have a Mac Mini, and I enjoy it. I like it. I like the operating system very much. And if I wanted to do Linux, I could run Linux or Windows for that matter.
Mm.
But I prefer just
Oh,
to have a Mac. That,
okay.
that's my preference. It's just so much easier. You don't have these updates all the time. Everybody complains about updates. It's just does it in the background. You don't have to worry.
It
You
keeps
don't get
telling
viruses.
me, like I'm
Yeah.
on Brave browser right now, and every time I turn on my computer, it says update is ready. Would you like to update now or
Really?
upon
Mm.
quitting or whatever? I don't know. Like I just never do though, because
Well,
I'm
I mean, I've got an
leery of.
iPad. I've got an Apple iPad. It's very good, don't get me wrong, but that keeps. But I will not put my fingerprint on there. No way. No way.
Yeah, I don't do
That
that.
and
Or the face
yeah.
face
Oh, face.
recognition stuff.
I don't want
Oh,
face
you mean
recognition.
like when they ask? Like I
Yeah.
thought you meant you don't
Yeah.
touch it, but with an iPad you have to touch it to move things around. But you're talking about
Yeah.
giving your
You.
fingerprint so that
Yeah.
you can log in via
That's right.
fingerprint. Oh
No
gosh,
way. No
no
way.
way,
And
no way.
now Stephen Trueseeker says, "Do you get Bigfoot in that region of Canada?"
That's hilarious. You're talking about
Yeah.
Sasquatch.
And it as well. Yes.
I have no idea if Sasquatch is real or not, and it's
No.
been
Wow.
around as a story all my life. All my life I've heard about Sasquatch, but there's never been a clear picture that people will show a picture and you say, well, that's it right there, that shady
Mm.
spot. It's always blurry. It's never clear. In all these decades, you would think that one person could get a clear picture, but anyway, I don't know. It's kind of a joke almost.
And
I
that's
really
over
don't
on
know.
Yeah.
the side of North America where they had totem poles and that sort of thing.
Mm.
Well, there's a lot of totem poles in British Columbia for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I live near the Lee Valley, which is a huge wooded area, and believe it or not, there's been several sightings of Bigfoot in there. Seriously. And you can cycle for a long time without seeing anybody. And I was cycling along one day. It's a beautiful sunny day. And I thought, well, if one pops out and goes, oh, hello, or something like that, and, by the time I get my camera out, people won't believe me. So didn't see anything. Mind you, what does happen is you get, there's loads and loads of lakes around here, and suddenly you get birds flying off, and that frightens you, but no, it's quite nice, actually. Anyway, on with the show.
Okay.
Now, tonight, we got several subjects we was going to cover, and you missed the first part because I showed an extract from Paths of Glory by the late Stanley Kubrick, and it was a scene where they go over the top, and it's the French army. And even though it was filmed in 1957, I find it a very moving film. I have never seen the film right the way through, but I've seen that aspect. Kirk Douglas does a very good job of acting in the role, and I think that Kubrick was a genius when it came to film.
Yeah.
Because that film, it still chokes me up when I see those poor sods in the First World War going over the top. Now, let's smash one myth, because this is what we're going to be aiming at. Shall we leave it to later on about the myth about the First World War, how it ended?
Mm.
The reason it ended was because the French army mutinied en masse, and they've kept that back, and that's true. And the German Navy mutinied and marched on Berlin. And the British Army, sort of, but not, it was the higher-ups that sort of mutinied, but not quite. And I don't know what happened with the American Army. I think they probably just got bored and went home. I don't know. But no, seriously, that is the real reason why the First World War ended, because the French army...
And wasn't, maybe these mutinies were due to all kinds of disinformation, misinformation being pumped out in the mainstream media to demoralize the troops and demoralize the citizens. Is that correct?
Maybe. I mean, I'm not so hot on the First World War, but I do know.
Yeah, me neither. I don't know that much. Maybe
I
Patrick
don't know
knows
much.
more.
Second World War, but I do know for a fact the French army, as they marched past the higher ranks, they used to make sheep bleating noises just before they mutinied, as they marched past, to show that they were like being led by like sheep.
Who was
And
doing the bleating noises?
that was the ordinary French troops en masse.
Mm-hmm.
So as I was marching past and saluting, they were going making bleating noises to show
Yes.
that they felt like they were sheep going to the slaughter. Well, it wasn't really, because I think the German army summed it up: lions led by donkeys. And I think that's a very, very true statement, what the German army said.
Oh,
When they saw loads of British and French coming towards them and they were just mowing them down, they're saying, these men are lions led by donkeys. And it's true. And that I think is a compliment to the British and French troops and American and everybody that was in there. But if you asked a First World War general, First World War, not general, veteran, what it was about, none of them could give you an answer, because that is a mystery, what it was really about. But I think we know what it's about.
Well, also killing, like getting Christians to kill Christians. It was a brothers' war. So perhaps the money, but it was a brothers' war. And there was that in 1859 or 69, I've seen it both ways.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody's making a mistake on the date, but Rabbi Reichhorn, his quote that said, "Wars are the Jews' harvest." And then he goes on with a few other things. You know, the Christians are killing each other. They have already 100 million have killed each other or whatever, and we're not near done yet. Makes room for them. And
well, all died for nothing. It's true what Stephen Truthseeker said.
Brothers' wars.
Yes, it was. And I think that my father used to look people straight in the face. He said, unless you were there, you would never understand what it's like. You'd never understand what it is like to have something. But I'd like to show you, because we're doing a little bit about remembrance, because I think it's the same in Canada, isn't it? It's 11th the 11th. I think it's the same in America as well, isn't it? 11th 11th all the way around the world.
Yeah, 11/11/11. It's Remembrance Day, right? I think in the States that you call it Veterans Day, Patrick.
Yeah, that's what we call it. 11/11, and they do the poppies here as well as Canada and everywhere in the English speaking and
same here,
most of the world.
Well, I'm going to show you an extract.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you there. Sorry, mate, that was very rude of me. I didn't mean to talk over you. I'm going to show you an extract of a veteran that was on the television that you may not have seen, and how patronising the people were, and he said something he shouldn't have said. So here we go. So let's put this on. Sorry, I've got to cue this up. It's a bit difficult to do. So I'll just share. Here we go. And we should start it now. Come on, start.
What does Remembrance Sunday mean for you? What is your message?
Can you hear that, Monica?
No, I was just going to say the sound is really low, Eric.
Oh, hold on. Just one moment. I'll try and do something.
Still not.
Hold on. I'm sorry. I don't know what's happened with the sound there. Was it just so low you couldn't hear it, or?
Correct. It was almost like you could hear something, but it's almost like you were hearing it through a roundabout way, but it was you couldn't hear it.
I don't quite know what to do. Well, what he basically said is it wasn't worth it. And what the people, and he said, when you see the rows and rows, dead, he said it just wasn't worth it what we fought for, and that was it. It was fought for nothing. And hello, where's she gone? Is it something I said? I'll try again. Okay, see if I can put the sound up a little bit. Should we try again? And let's have a look. See if I can do something. Right. Let's see if I can do it. No, it's gone. No, I don't know what's happened, but something's happened there, and I just couldn't get the sound up. But what he was basically saying was it just wasn't worth it. It was just a complete waste for what we've got today.
There
Yeah,
was
if
an
yeah,
interview or a clip the other day of a 101-year-old veteran.
that's it. That's it.
Is
You've
that the
seen it.
one?
That's the one.
Yeah, and
And
he
he
was
said
just
similar to what my dad
crying,
said. Well,
and
my
he
dad said if we'd have known how this country's going to turn out, we'd have thrown our rifles down and given up. And he said that
yeah.
whilst being means tested, and the means tester laughed, went, ha, ha, ha. And my dad and I just looked and just stared and never said a word. And that was the best thing we could have done. And my dad was going to say something. No, sorry, I was going to say something. My dad put his hand on my arm. And we just looked. And that is the truth, the way they were treated. And Hachi said, they treated the poor old chap with words I can't say. Here, Kate Garraway, lovely woman, absolutely beautiful. But no, that's the thing. And Stephen Truthseeker said that's why the soldiers, tanks, etc., have occult symbols on them. Now that's interesting. Oh yeah, because Paul said 11, 11, 11, a nice Masonic 33. And I think that's why the soldiers' tanks have occult symbols on them. But also, did you know that in 1941, up until 1941, a lot of American tank regiments had the swastika as their logo?
Really?
Yeah. And also the Finnish Air Force had the swastika on their aircraft as a logo because it means good luck. Now, what does the swastika mean in German? Now, what's in German? I did know it, but I can't remember it. Monica, do you know what it means?
Well, I think that the swastika meant the same thing in Germany as it meant for thousands of years, and that was basically all, prosperity. Or no, I'm talking about the what is. Okay,
sorry, I mean how you say it in German. I mean, sorry, I got it wrong.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have a definition for what the swastika meant in German.
No, not definition, but what do they call the swastika? That's what I was going to. That's what I mean. Yeah,
Hakenkreuz. Hakenkreuz.
That's the word. Hakenkreuz. I was thinking, what is it? Hakenkreuz. Yeah, because did you know that in 1939 the Hakenkreuz, if I pronounce that correctly, was flying over the Welsh Assembly building.
It's been used in many places. I think in the United States, I think the Boy Scouts or somebody they had them like
they did.
Patrick, you would know.
They had a badge. I looked that up.
Yeah. But this was the German version over the French, over the Welsh town hall, the Hakenkreuz.
Yeah.
Not the other time. It was the actual German one, which is I think is it a white cross on red back? I can't remember, but that's it. So that they did in 1939, early 1939. They did.
Wow.
But yeah, that is quite something. But let's look at the other thing I was going to look at is the way history has been corrupted. Now, this is an extract. Now, have you got your sick bag there, Monica? Ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Ready? Have you got a brick ready to put through the screen when you see this? Because steam will come out of your ears. What this jolly nice historian was saying, because we got to believe him because it's 100% true, isn't it? Okay, so let's have a look at this fantastic historian, shall we? Let's share. Here we go, and let's hope the volume's better on this. Oh dear, I think you know what's coming. Here it comes. Here we go. How can I start this bloody thing? Where is it now? Come on, start. What have I done here? It won't start for someone. Oh, here it is.
So what was in the mind of Winston Churchill? Why did he think that he could afford not to negotiate? Hitler had offered him a deal where he said, we will not invade or bomb you, and we will let you have your empire. Just call off the war. Churchill was not just a romantic. He was a very brilliant guy who was convinced that the last armament of the Royal Air Force, given the fact that the Royal Navy was the largest navy in the world, meant everybody took a deep breath. They said to themselves, for all of Germany's continental ground power, land forces, they cannot get across the channel because the British Navy will sink it, and they do not have the ability to achieve air superiority over Britain, and therefore they can't attack us. And Churchill said, well, you know what? We can't invade either, so there's going to be a standoff, and that standoff is going to favor us, because eventually authoritarians like Hitler and Stalin cannot trust each other. They'll have a falling out, and at some point they will fight each other, and that will be to our advantage. So what was in the mind of Winston Churchill?
So there we go. Have you had? I do hope you had your sick bag ready there, because I felt like throwing up as well. And this is how people are brainwashed into believing. You know, the other one you got to do, you got to hold your lapel and look skyward and go, "A great man." Can you smell something? Cats, dogs? No, bullshit, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And this is the thing, because millions, we don't know how many lives were thrown away because of that evil specimen, to be quite honest with you. Now,
And the
you may-
hidden hand, that funded him and all that,
that's right. It did actually. That is. He was a bought politician, as most politicians are today.
and a drunkard.
Yes, the Canadian Prime Minister called him a drunken bum. That's actually in the bloke's diary. And also an art fraud, a fraudster as well. Do you know that? Have you
Oh,
heard that one? Yes. According to David Irving, in the 1930s, he went under a pseudonym of a French artist that's sort of famous but not quite, and he sold his paintings in studios just outside Paris and got more than he should have got for them, because people thought, because he signed it as this French artist's name.
are you talking
So
about who are we
Churchill.
talking? Oh my goodness,
Churchill,
that's who
yes.
I thought you were talking about him, but I didn't want to
Yes,
embarrass myself by
yes.
saying, "Are you talking about Churchill?"
Yeah, Churchill went under the pseudonym of a
Wow.
semi-famous French artist, and then sold his paintings in the 1930s in art studios that were just outside Paris, so that people would go in there and think they got a bargain, think it was by the real, but I can't remember what the name is now, and they weren't. They're getting one by Churchill.
I didn't know that he was doing any painting or trying to do any painting.
Well, he couldn't paint. And did you know also, I found this out from someone that was actually in the Secret Services, that Churchill could not build a brick wall. A bricklayer would come along and he would pose holding a brick and a trowel as if he could build a brick wall thoroughly. He was so drunk, he could just about put one brick on top of the other one. It's all a complete and utter hype. It's just rubbish. I mean, he couldn't paint. He couldn't build a brick wall. The only thing he
As
could do
opposed
is
to as opposed to another great leader who really could paint.
yes, who we're not allowed to mention, but
Yeah.
he came from Austria, I believe, and
That was where he was born.
that's where he was born. Yes, but I've actually got his paintings, and they're very, very good. He had very good eye for perspective, and he's very good at architecture as well.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I think it's Speer. He made a bit of, excuse my language, made a bit of a balls up with the stonework and got the stone the wrong way round, so it all felt a bit. But Speer mentioned it. He said, "Oh dear," he said, "I don't think my client would have been very happy with that. If he said if the wall would have gone on, we'd have won." So yeah, he got and that's exactly what they did at. I think it was at Westminster. They got the stone round the wrong way round. So because you got it's like timber. If you get timber round the wrong way round, water sinks into the pores. But if you get it the correct way round, the water will sink sideways. And similar with stone apparently. And the stone that they used on Westminster, parts of it were the wrong way round because they did it for cheapness. And of course, it all started to decay after.
I had no idea.
Yes, but now. Stephen Truthseeker said Churchill was of aristocratic bloodline. That's correct. But according to John Hamer, who's researched into this, he may have had a hand in the ending of his mother, because his mother was, shall we say, a good time girl, and or what we call, I don't know, you're old enough. No, you're not that old. Not as old as me. Do you remember the Martini advert with the Martini girl that went anytime, any place, anywhere? Do you remember those adverts? Martini, anytime, any place, anywhere. Huh?
No, I
Well,
don't.
they had a
Maybe
saying in this
vaguely.
country. It was a polite saying for, shall we say, a lady with loose morals was called a Martini girl.
Oh, I never knew that.
Oh, she's a Martini. So his mother was a Martini girl, anytime,
Okay.
any place, anywhere.
Mhm.
And when Churchill found out about this and found out his father couldn't have been his father because his father had something that's not talked about in polite company, but it's nothing to clap about, he couldn't have actually been his father. So whoever his father was a bit of a mystery. And when he heard
Oh,
about that, he apparently got a doctor who was very good at bumping people off. And he bumped the king off eventually. You know,
oh.
King, one in the 30s, and apparently he may have bumped Churchill's mother off under the orders of Churchill. John Hamer, the author, has got a lot of details on it, and
Would that have
it's
been
Wow.
quite
George the
interesting.
Fifth?
George V, yes, that's the one, yes. But now, Stephen Truthseeker, now there's one to get our teeth into. Mr. H and Churchill were both owned by the Illuminati.
See, this
One
will.
was.
Yeah, one was. You know, this is this big thing that's being pushed these days, and I don't know if you wanted to get into that. Like I wrote about that in my email. That's what we were going to talk about
Yeah, we've
originally.
got to be a
When
little bit careful because we're on YouTube, but we're okay. I think we'll be a fly on the wall. I think it's the best thing. And
the,
oh, by the way, according to Hachi said, Churchill, he liked women's panties. It's in John Hamer's research.
He liked to wear them.
I don't know.
are we talking about Churchill now? I guess
Churchill,
so.
yeah,
Eh?
Churchill,
yes,
Churchill,
yes.
yeah.
What a horrible thought. I think I want to be ill. Yes, but I know that in the book, Britain's, is it called Britain's Mad Dog? Churchill did hang around some brothels, male prostitute places in Morocco. So I don't know how true that is, but that's actually in a book called Britain's Mad Dog, I believe. So he may have been bisexual, because in his small report he said the headmaster in his report said he is it something he buggers the younger boys. So
Again, Churchill, just to be clear.
Hmm.
So
That's right. To be 100% clear, it was 100% Churchill I'm talking about. I'm
yeah,
not talking about the other gentleman who had a moustache, and I'm not talking about Stalin.
but I just want to say that there's a lot of this being pushed these days, Eric. That Hitler was an agent, he's an Illuminati, he fled to Argentina, he
yes,
he was a homosexual, he was a Rothschild
Yes.
agent, he was
The
this,
other
he
one.
was that.
Hang on. He was a woman. That was another one. And the other one, the
Training.
best one, you're going to laugh at this, is Operation Winnie the Pooh. Have you heard that one?
No.
There's a New Zealand chappie, I can't remember his name, who said that Hitler was an undercover agent for Britain, and he escaped to Argentina via Spain. Now, I think you know as well as I do that Franco and Hitler detested each other. There's a scene of them shaking hands and they're not looking at each other's face because they hated each other. And Hitler, in his memoirs, said, or in his diary, said he'd rather have his teeth extracted without anaesthetic than meet Franco. He didn't like him. So do you think he would have let him through Operation Winnie the Pooh using the British intelligence? No.
Hitler gave his life's force, his life energy to the people that he loved, and that was his folk, the German folk. Hannah Reich wrote a book, and I read that book in the original German. She was that pilot, with very, very, very amazing woman, amazing
Test
woman.
pilot.
That's
anyway,
right.
Yeah, I mean, I read the whole story, and wow, what a story. Anyway, what she says, because she was in the bunker.
That's right.
In the last few days, then she flew out. She
was the last to fly out, wasn't she? She's the very last person to fly out.
Could
and
be. And
just
she had
about
offered,
made it.
she had
Yeah.
offered to the
Mm.
great one to fly him out, but he refused. What she says about him, and I have no reason to doubt her, what her description of his countenance during those last few days, because the whole book is just so authentic. So,
Mm.
I mean, here's a woman with integrity, honor, the most honest person you could, like, just upright. And I have no reason to doubt what she said about this man, you know, the great Führer, the great one's countenance at the end, that he was, it's like was already halfway to the other world. He was already half gone. He had spent his life's
Mm.
force, like literally like he's a walking ghost by now. I don't mean a skeleton, just like a ghost of himself, just a shell of
Sure.
himself. He was already gone because he'd spent his life force. Now, then there's these stories of him escaping to Argentina and living another, 20 years or whatever. I mean, some crazy fools even say he's still alive. Like, how's that possible? Come on. That's a joke. But even those who just say that he lived another 20 years, you see, I think that is pushed, and it's been pushed hard lately. All these stories about him being an Illuminati, an agent working for them, being a Rothschild, being this, being that. It's pushed hard now because people are starting to wake up about the fact that this was not the baddest man that walked the face of this earth, that he was a great man, one in, 2,000 years type of man, and he loved his people. And so I told this story about what Hannah Reich said about him, because,
Mm.
yeah, I wasn't there. You weren't there. Patrick wasn't there. None of us can know with 100% certainty what happened at the end of his life. Was it a death of free will? Did he escape? But everything that I have read from contemporaries and his own words, his own speeches, and then this from Hannah Reich, everything comes together for me that I am certain in my view, in my conclusions, I have I've reached the conclusion that Mr. Hitler died of a free will. It was a free will death at the
Yes.
end of the World War II. And that then furthermore, I say to myself, why are all these stories being pushed? I do think it is a further demoralization of us. It's pushing a hopelessness on us, that, okay, so we've woken up to the lies about World War II, and then now even this great man that tried to stop the communism, which he did succeed for half of Europe for a while, but so that even that, it can't exist, that we have no hope of ever even finding our way out, and also the whole National Socialist way of being and thinking and governance. It basically undermines that whole everything. It undermines everything about what Germany did in those 12 years, not a slave, basically. So yeah, there's a lot. People can go to my the website truthandjusticeforgermans.com, and there's an article there that is just a brief article that is an exchange, actually an email exchange. I published it between Harry Cooper and myself, because he was contacting us, wanting us to promote his stuff, and I explained to him why we, I said, thank you for the good work you've done, but there is a problem with your theory of, Adolf Hitler running away to Argentina. It's very demoralizing. And so I didn't, right? And then we have this exchange back and forth, and I published that. But the thing is, here's something else I want to say about that. It would portray him as a coward. And I think we all know that whatever else you think about this man, he was not a coward.
Look what his First World War. Yes.
First World War, he was the bravest man around. Like, he was a runner, right? I think that's what his job was. So he was running and he was a very brave man. He was certainly not a coward. But if he had fled to Argentina and lived out a nice, cushy life for the rest of his life, that would make him a coward that jumped ship. Basically the captain that jumps ship as the ship is going down and everybody drowns. But he runs away. It's a very demoralizing story that is being pushed hard.
You're spot on. Oh, by the way, the Jolly Man said, "What's normal?" Well, we're coming on to that a little bit later. All right, so it will be going on to this a little bit later. What you just said about him is what my father said before he died. He said, "Incredible man." And when you look at the amount of lies that are being spread now, there's a chap called, I think his name's Mark Felton. Now he's very establishment, and it's Nazi this, Nazi that, Nazi the other. Yes, he does suffer from that, but he's a very thorough investigator, and his view is that yes, he did do away with himself, and his loyal compatriots, what they did is they actually put his body and that of Eva Braun in a mass grave, and then got people that looked like them to put them in the shallow grave. And they did that deliberately. And he's got the evidence. He reckons he's got the evidence for it, and he's gone right into it. He said because it's the teeth and things like that, they put these different crowns, and he said they were loyal to him because they didn't want the bodies to be found, and he said he wanted to be buried with his people, so he's put into a mass grave, and that's what. And I think I actually, we don't know because we weren't there, we weren't even born, so I think Mark Felton is probably the closest to it. I think he's very, very close, to it. And someone said your dog is barking at Bigfoot. Oh yes, Bigfoot's coming up behind you. There he is. Give him a wave. Hello, Bigfoot. Fine there. Yes, he's interested in modern history. But you see, the thing is, what gets me. I mean, this comes on to your brother Alfred, who's in jail in Germany for saying something naughty. Now, if I was to come out with something that was silly, like I don't know, I saw a UFO, it landed and Bigfoot got out and waved to me. People say, bleeding nutcase. So that would be a complete lie. Okay? Now, that's stupid, what I've just said. I didn't see a UFO and I didn't see Bigfoot getting out of it and waving to me. So that hasn't harmed anybody. If someone said, you're not allowed to say that, we're going to put you in prison for saying that. Say, well, hang on a minute. What's going on? Is it a secret military saucer-shaped object that they're testing out? Is it some mutant that they put inside one of these saucers? It gets interesting. So in a weird way, by stifling what people are saying, it's bringing out the truth because people are inquisitive. Why? And they can put all the slander they want against your brother. People will see through it. So really,
And they are.
they're shooting themselves in the foot. They're shooting themselves in the foot because the fact is, I believe you should be able to say anything. And it doesn't matter how insulting it is, because people should have the guts to stand up and say, well, And the only censorship I do believe in, though, is censorship from children. So you should not show children explicit things because they're children and they've got to have a childhood because it would be upsetting to them. You don't swear in front of children. That's the only censorship I do believe in, and that's the trouble. We're not censoring what we're showing children and telling children, but we're censoring what we're showing and telling adults. What's happened?
On that point, the Jews did use this argument of, that's censorship to bring pornography.
You mean the Masons?
Yeah, to bring pornography and to make that available to everybody, let alone also to children. They used that excuse to, that's censorship. If you say, no, we don't want to show pornography. And anyway, I'm sure there's other people who would talk much, much more, eloquently on that subject as I
I know what you mean
right now.
Well, Nathan has just said, I find the more someone tries to control me and dictate my actions and behavior, the more I want to rebel against it. And somebody earlier said, what is it now? Was talking about. Is he all right? Is he beaten bitten the postman's leg or something?
I think he's barking at a squirrel up in the tree or something. And he's tied right now because we've got people coming and going, and I don't he gets pretty excited. So right now he's on a leash.
Yes, but the thing is that I've lost. Oh yes, now Stephen Truthseeker said hatred of the mother. This is Churchill. Works by identifying one of the thing of hatred, and what is it now? I've got. I just can't find what somebody else has said. But
Well,
that's
just
it.
while you
Yeah,
okay.
okay, I've got it. Yeah, but do you want to see to what was his name? Is it Rover, or has he got an English? Has your dog got an English name
His
or a
name is
German?
Adi. Adi.
Addy. That's a
Short
nice
for
name.
another wonderful name, hey?
Yes, Addy. Who?
Adi, A-D-I,
Addy.
Adi. I don't know, who could that be?
Yeah.
Adi. So I just wanted to say something about the censorship of something that, in history, only lies need the protection of the law. Truth stands on its own. With truth, you just provide evidence. But since they don't have evidence for the lying, the lies, the narrative which are lies, they have to enshrine these bits of history into law. Think about it. It is completely illogical to make a law about something that happened in the past, to legislate a piece of history into being. It's impossible. You can't change or establish a piece of history just by making a law that such and such happened.
Well, that's right. Suppose when we they made a law that I don't know, the Normans didn't invade Britain in 1066. And they did. That's why we've got a fake king on the throne, because it's not an English king; he's a Norman king. And that's it, because they enslaved the English, and that's why there's a big difference. And that's why they try to eradicate the English, because you notice on papers in this country it says, "Are you Irish, Scottish, Welsh, or British?" It doesn't say English. And they've been trying to get rid of the English because we were thoroughly beaten by the Normans, and that goes back a long way. So the way I look at it, I live near, and I've said this many times, near where the last king of England is said to be buried. Whether he is or not, I don't know. And that is Harold. King Harold.
Yeah.
That's right. And I'm hoping to make a film of it,
Steptoe.
because apparently there is a little monument at Waltham Abbey where he's supposed to be buried. We don't know for sure. Now, talking about Churchill, it said Truth and Truth said transvestitism, if I pronounce it correctly, is hatred for the mother, nothing to do with being gay. I don't know whether Churchill was a transvestite. Now, Nathan Lucius says, I'm not awfully fond of my mother either, but never had any inclinations to wear women's underwear. Well, I wasn't that particularly fond on mine, but doesn't mean I'm not that way inclined. So, I think that's a bit iffy, that one is, isn't it, really? Now, all military uniforms have Masonic symbols on them. I'm not sure whether to laugh or cry. It's so obvious. This is Hatchie. Now, again, we're coming back with both sides funded by the same groups. Initially, yes, I do believe, I don't know whether you agree with this, Monica, that Germany was funded by Fords and quite a few companies, American companies, from about 1933 onwards. Have you got anything to say about that at all? Can't. Sound's gone.
Mute.
Yeah, I muted myself, so I didn't want you all to be disturbed by my...
Oh no!
Sign language.
The dog's fine. That sounds nice. I like
Yeah.
Anyway, he stopped barking now, but I just thought while I'm not talking, I can mute, and then I forgot to unmute. But no, it's not my area of expertise or that I've looked into it. There are many, many other people who have really looked into this about the funding and this and that, and so it's not something that I want to talk about right now, because I'd rather talk about stuff that I feel.
I know what you mean. You kindly sent a link of a protest that you made and it's on BitChute. Now, BitChute is based in Swindon in Wiltshire, which happens to be the England. You see, didn't say United Kingdom because United Kingdom doesn't exist officially. It's England, but we can't get BitChute because of
Ofcom.
laws over here. Yes,
Oh,
Ofcom. So I can only use BitChute via a VPN, which the government is
yeah.
trying to stop people using VPNs. Now the
Oh,
thing is, because it could be harmful.
Did you know that about that, Monica? That they couldn't get BitChute in England?
well,
Yeah.
I knew that BitChute was really limited in
Mm.
more European countries, not just England, I think. But
Yeah.
I also know that you can do VPN, and now they're trying to stop you from using a VPN. Like, for people who don't know what that is, basically it makes it look like you're from another place, like in terms of your router or whatever IP address. So they're making it really difficult for you to see certain things. Well, what I'm going to do, I'm going to upload that video onto my Odyssey. Do you get Odyssey?
Yes, Odyssey and Rumble, but I do get BitChute, but I couldn't see it tonight because if I put a VPN on, it slows the computer down so bad.
Right.
It became so
Okay.
tomorrow I'm going to look at it and please accept my
Well,
apology.
it won't be up. Oh, tomorrow on BitChute. Yeah, I won't be able to upload it yet today. I'm really busy today. But there's an article. I also sent you the link to the article, and that's for the listener, freespeechmonica.com, and spell Monica with a K. So freespeechmonica.com. And the latest article there is about that little protest that I did. And what it's about basically is that, you see, we have our very own Holocaust being rolled out in front of our eyes in Canada, in terms of what the narrative is about these Indian residential schools. Now, nobody's saying that there weren't Indian residential schools, but there is a problem.
Yes.
Some of the stories they're telling us, they have passed a resolution unanimously through the House of Commons a couple of years ago that Canada committed genocide on the Indian people with this Indian residential school system. And then they came out with this, well, before they passed that resolution, they came out with this story at Kamloops. That's ground zero for this hysteria that's now taken hold of people so unbelievably, especially university students. They're just behaving in absolutely insane ways when somebody tries to come on campus and just say, well, where's the evidence? Okay. But anyway, the Kamloops, that's where in 2021, May 27th, they came out with this announcement that they had found 215 unmarked graves. Did you want to say something there before I continue?
I have a question about it.
Yeah, okay, far away, Patrick.
Is it exclusively leveled at the Catholic Church, or are there more players involved?
Yeah, more players involved. The government of Canada, because these church-run schools were funded through the government, and there were some other churches involved too. I don't think it was just 100% Catholic-run schools, but that part I can't tell you specifics, other than that I do believe there were other
the
churches
majority
as
though
well.
were Catholic.
I think so. And then in that first year after that announcement, 100 churches got burned down or seriously vandalized, basically ruined. And what did our prime minister say? He basically said, well, that's understandable. In other words, giving carte blanche to that, right?
Yeah.
Now, have they found any bodies? No. Why not? They have, well, they have not dug, yet they have gotten $12.1 million from the Canadian government, which is us. We're paying for that. Thank you very much. Specifically earmarked to do the investigation at that site. They have not dug. Why have they not dug? Well, they make all kinds of excuses. They say, oh, we don't want to disturb the spirits. And they'll also scream at you. They did this to me at my little one-woman protest. Are you calling our elders liars? You are calling our people liars. We have memories. And honestly, they went rabidly crazy on me. And I'm just a, peaceful one-woman middle-aged woman show with a sign, and the sign says no reconciliation without truth on one side, because they have this Truth and Reconciliation commission that they ran, went all across Canada, got thousands and thousands of testimonials from survivors. There's that word survivor, which where else have we heard that word survivor? All the languages the
Well,
same.
yeah, they want reparations. That's ultimately what's going down.
Well,
And
ultimately,
shutting
no.
up the people involved.
Well, that's the way they're getting the natives on their side,
Yeah.
but really, ultimately, it's a war against us. They are just being
Yeah.
used in the war against the white man and woman. But anyway, on the other side of the sign, it said "unmarked graves?" ? Evidence, please. But this got them very, very angry at this gathering. You can read about that in the article. I won't. I don't need to go into too much detail here, other than that this is reminding me of another story that we're not allowed to question. And guess what? The language is similar. And also there is legislation on the books. It has not yet passed, but they are working hard at all these things. It has been introduced into Parliament. That is residential school denialism. It's the law, right? So where else have we heard that word denial before? Where else have we heard that word survivor and multi-generational trauma? All these words are very, very similar to that other story that
Right.
we're not allowed to
That's what
question.
they call David Irving. That's what Deborah Lipstadt came up
Well,
with. She's the one that
that-
coined the
that's right.
term Holocaust denier and leveled it at
See,
David
the
Irving.
thing is to question.
Thank
That's
you.
right. But to question, I mean, my attitude is I want to be a fly in the wall, and all I want is the truth, however ugly that truth is. That doesn't mean to say that I'm a aggressive, nasty person, because I like people of all races, of all anybody. I like people,
You want to hear
genuine
people out.
folk,
You want to hear the
and
story
I just
from
want to hear
the
them out.
horse's
That's
mouth.
right. And what angers me is this ideological subversion and brainwashing that have, especially with World War II. My father got it in the neck all the time. They'd see rubbish films, and people believed Hollywood rather than some poor soul like my dad who'd actually been there and seen it. I'm not talking about what you was talking about, the Holocaust or anything like that, but I'm talking about the battlefront and things like that. And this is what angers me. You're quite right, they're using the same type of thing. Why aren't you allowed to question these things? And it brings in a lot of emotions. Now, for example, when they do the Catholic bashing, and it is Catholic bashing, because, well, going back to Guy Fawkes, I've looked into this. He bought his gunpowder up the road from where I live because there was the gunpowder mills at Waltham Abbey. And gunpowder couldn't have been bought for love nor money at that time. The government had a tight fist rein on it. You just could not buy gunpowder. So how was he allowed to get the gunpowder? And he was a Catholic. And it was an inside job to let him get all the gunpowder and put it under the Houses of Parliament and then find him. And after that, Catholics throughout this country were actually they had some terrible discrimination. They were rounded up and all things like that. That's exactly what the government wanted.
Yeah, they were martyrs.
And this is the thing. That's right. They were martyrs. And when you look at it, they're using the same techniques of what they used then as now. Because if you're not allowed to say something or question something, that to me stinks. Because everybody in a war, people suffer, and there are innocent folk that do suffer. And I'm on the side of the innocent folk that suffer on both sides. And yes, it wasn't nice to be put into camps. Not very nice. And people did suffer at the end of the war with starvation and terrible things because the Allies were bombing the food trains. That
Exactly.
is clearly seen. There were some very ruthless people in those camps who did crimes, and several of them were brought to justice, and they were
And
shot.
shot. Exactly.
That's right. That's right. But the trouble is, where you've got people confined in camps, you will find psychopaths, unfortunately, and psychopaths are like a disease that are spread in all countries. That everybody's got psychopaths. So I think, again, I want to be a fly on the wall. I just want the truth, and I don't want to upset people. I just want to. Well, yes, it may upset people, But the truth is the truth. And the big problem, as I see it, is a minority of people have made a bloody lot of money out of this at the expense of a handful of genuine people who really did suffer, and
And
they've been sidelined.
it's a propaganda war, and like Benjamin
That's
Franklin
right.
said, Benjamin Franklin said that a bad peace is still better than a good war, and that's
Mm,
more or less what we've got to deal with. Because
that's right.
I think that World War II would have been averted, and I think what it really is over because it's a small group of people manipulating things with things that want to be able to sanction and control monopolies of trade between countries.
Mm,
And they had prior, and I think it was in August 1939, the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact between Stalin and Hitler, which meant non-aggression peace between the two nations. And the bankers could not have that because that meant that Germany and Russia were getting along. They were going to trade together. They were going to
mm.
do commerce together. And they'd cut out the middleman. There'd be no middleman banker to be doing all the transactions between the two countries. And it's going on to this day. You
Mm.
look at the Nord Stream pipeline. That's a perfect example of what
Yeah.
they've done to wreck the relations between Russia and Germany. And
Mm.
what's going on in Ukraine is an example of history repeating itself in that regard. And they did it in World War
Yeah, you're
One as
right.
well with the Bolshevik
Lusitania.
Revolution.
And the Lusitania?
Well, no, I was going to
Yes.
say
Oh, yeah.
you had the Bolsheviks. They really didn't have much part in World War One. Russia didn't, the king had been deposed in 1917, and so he was put out of action. I look at on our side, in the American side, the consistent thing was Bernard Baruch. He was a character. He was a Wall Street mogul, and it was he he ended up being Wilson, who was our president at the time. Wilson made him the chairman of the War Board, which was the War Industrial Board, which he enriched himself. And then when World War II happened, here I've got a quote about what Churchill said to Bernard Baruch when Baruch was let's see, Bernard Baruch and Winston Churchill. Where was that quote? Because he basically said that he was going to take over when it all came time. Here it is. In 1939, Winston Churchill told Bernard Baruch, "War is coming very soon. You will be running the show over there." And that's what he did. He ran Hollywood. His brother ran Hollywood, the
Whoa, whoa,
propaganda,
whoa.
the licensing board.
Mm.
So the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact was peace between Russia and Germany, and that was in August 1939. And what really started the war, according to David Irving's book about Dresden, the destruction of Dresden, there was what was called Operation Tigerfish, and it was the first aerial bombing of German land down in Freiburg, which is across the border from Basel, Switzerland. And that happened on May 10th, 1940. And that's the day that Winston Churchill became the new prime minister from Chamberlain. So
And they believe that Chamberlain may have been done in.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, it's an interest. I mean, it's the coincidence that was the thing that started the World War II, was that bombing of Freiburg. And that was just prior August of 39 is when the peace treaty between the Soviet Union and Germany took place. And so the people in London and Wall Street here in America, they couldn't have that. They didn't want the German people uniting with the Russian people in any way. They had to stop it. And that's what effectively did, because then it became a war on two fronts. Eventually, they made it so. So anyway,
What about
that's my thought. And as far as
Thank
Hitler
you for
and
that history.
as far as Hitler
Yeah.
being part of the Illuminati, I would say no. He was against. You read Mein Kampf. He was against secret societies like the Freemasons. He did not want that. And I don't see him as a Catholic. I don't see him as the leader that we should have followed. But at the same time, we shouldn't have followed Roosevelt or Churchill either, or Stalin or any of these people. Most of them. But at the same time, there should have been no war. There should have been peace. Like Franklin said, bad peace is better than a good war at any time.
Well,
You
there's
can
no, well,
resolve your
that good
differences by
war,
talking.
the good war notion is such a falsehood that was drummed into our heads from, in school, all through school.
That's
They always
right.
talk about the good war. Oh, well, wars are bad, but this one was necessary. So it was a good war because we had to get rid of this evil man that was going to take over the world. The very thing they projected onto Hitler was what the perpetrators of the war are doing, and we are seeing them doing it in real time. What is this thing about one world government? Who is it that is doing that to us, right? But and how many times did Hitler put out a peace proposal
Yeah.
and try again and again, even after the war had begun, he was still trying for peace. Like, this is not necessary. We don't, and he's the one who lived through World War I, and somebody who has been a soldier himself and seen all the death and destruction with it. They don't want war. They never want war.
That's right. That's right. You're spot on there. For example, in this country, I guess you're aware that after the First World War, there was almost an uprising in this country. And in 1920, you see, before 1920, I've said this on other programs, so people have heard it before. You can go make a cup of tea now or cup of coffee. Before 1920, you could actually buy arms over the counter in much the same way as you can buy arms over the counter in some states in America today.
It was a high trust society.
That's right. And then the 1920 Firearms Act came in that stopped that. You had to have a license after that. And then in 1921, the Royal British Legion was started, and they amalgamated loads of veterans associations together. But what they don't tell you is that allegedly, I believe, because they've got very good lawyers in the Royal British Legion, so this is, again, is what I have been told by veterans and things, that a lot of infiltrators got into these more rebellious type veterans associations and trashed the leaders. So they made up things about the leaders, and of course mud sticks, and destroyed them from within. Because there were, if you look at the newspapers around, say, 1919, at the end of the war, there was riots in places like Luton and all kinds of places, flashpoints around Great Britain. So the people, they've been through a basin full of war. They was promised the earth, and they came back to worse poverty than when they left. So you had a very, very angry group of people. And this country was more of a pacifist type attitude. No more, not another war.
Like any country.
And that's right. And the Royal British Legion was formed, and they promoted patriotism. But they also told people what they wanted to hear. So it was more of a pacifist organisation. It changed in 1939. And they actually got a delegation of 3 World War I veterans. I think one was a vicar and a couple of other people that went over to Germany to have peace talks in I think about 1936, 37. You don't hear much about that either. But the thing is, this country was very anti-war. There was a famous Oxford Union debate. I think that was around about 36. And they said, no man in this chamber will fight a future war. Come 1939, they did. And even up until early 1939, people were saying there's no way we're going to go to war again. No war, no way. And there was veterans of World War I saying, I'm not sending my son. And Sefton Delmar and people like that did an absolutely unbelievable job of turning people's minds.
Exactly.
Said this several times. People say, "Oh, we couldn't go to war in Ukraine." I said, and I've said, "Yes, we can. All they need to do is set up a false flag, and stupid idiots will believe them, and they'll be falling over themselves at recruiting offices."
Exactly. It's
look-
either it's going to be false flags and it's going to be a whole lot of atrocity propaganda. But go ahead, Patrick, you were going to say something.
Well, I would
Yes.
say what we just lived through in 2020 with the COVID lockdowns shows you the amount of influence that they have to create panic in society. It's a perfect example. You couldn't ask for a better one.
Fear.
Fear, yeah, fear of
And-
your neighbor, even,
Yeah,
or your own family. They divided families over this.
they certainly have.
Yes. But the thing is that when you look at the power of propaganda, it's phenomenally powerful. And again, what I've often said, none of us were around in the American Civil War. So if I mention the American Civil War, instantly our mind goes to Hollywood, the films we've seen. Can't help it. And if there was a American Civil War veteran that we could, I don't know, with DNA bring them alive again, they'd probably look at the films and say that's a load of rubbish, complete rubbish. Like my father used to look at World War II films and say that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong. We showed him Saving Private Ryan. He was actually on the beach next to where that film was depicted, and it was the first wave in, next to the Americans, and he said the amount of things he's saying that's wrong. He said whoever advised Spielberg wasn't there.
Wow. Yeah. So, I had a thought and it just fled. It just out.
That's
So
okay. You're having a senior moment as well. So don't worry. It'll come back again. That's okay. It's a bit like you apparently put down what we're going to talk about today, and I completely forgot all about it. Oops.
no, I
did
think
feel terrible.
we covered it all, didn't we? But what was the title of your show? You said something about
What's gone wrong?
normal. No,
What's
what's
normal?
normal?
Now you think about it, psychiatrists. Now, about 30 years ago, I remember seeing a documentary on the television, and it was psychiatrists trying to help people. I think they got shyness or something. And this psychiatrist, you see him walking along the road, and he's got now. Alec Guinness always said, "You could always tell a man by the hang of his trousers. If they're too long, he is very scruffy. If they're too short, he's insane." And you saw this psychiatrist walking towards the camera with a pair of flared. Now remember, this was 30 years ago. A pair of flared trousers on that were 4 inches roughly above his ankles. And I thought, there's the psychiatrist, and they were getting people to
Knickers.
appear nude. That's right, appear nude in public.
Well,
And to go to-
Streaker. They called them streakers.
Streakers. Well, that's a little bit after the Streakers. That was 70s. This was
Okay.
90s, I think. And go to work, starkers. And what is basically these people were they were perverts, I think, and it was destroying people's self-respect.
Well, yeah.
That's basically it. To hire,
Wow.
dispense with all their inhibitions, just let it all hang out. It was creepy.
That
And
is.
as he-
It's insane.
And these psychiatrists, they go, "Oh, yes, well, marvelous, yes." They didn't. Well, wouldn't want to see them. They didn't strip off. They got the other people to strip off. And these psychiatrists needed a psychiatrist. And as the old saying goes, anyone that needs to see a psychiatrist needs their head tested.
Needs
think
their
about
what tested?
Head tested. Anyone that goes to see a
Their head.
psychiatrist needs their head tested. Yeah. But
Exactly.
they're trying to make it look normal. And I've found that when you're dealing with psychopaths and people under the influence of psychopaths, they always say, "What's normal?" My sister said that.
Wow.
What's normal? I think she married something. Well,
Yeah.
has all the traits of a psychopath.
That's
But-
so interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
the what's normal,
What's
and
normal?
the goalpost or the stick or the whatever keeps shifting, so that for young people, what their notion of normal is. I'll just give you a little story that you reminded me of it when you're telling the story about these people that were convinced by the psychiatrists to go into work naked and sort of make
Mm.
this new normal that,
Yeah.
it's crazy making actually.
Yeah.
But anyway, this was a number of years back. It was at a talk, and my nephew happened to be there, and afterwards we were just in a little discussion about what the children are being taught in schools these days. Actually, yeah, it stemmed out of that discussion. But what I wanted to talk about, I was saying that I had been disgusted with some of the things I was seeing on the streets of downtown big city, Vancouver. Doesn't matter where, but you'll see it in any big city. You'll see it at airports. You'll see it anywhere where there's a lot of people. And it's these tights that women wear and it's like they've forgotten to finish getting dressed.
Yes. Yes. And men are wearing them as well. Men are wearing them in this country as well.
Yeah. Anyway, there are some of these, like the whole notion of women and girls wearing these tights without anything else over top, like a skirt or a pair of pants, like maybe those could just be your long underwear because it's cold out or something, or just wear a skirt or whatever. No, it's just these tights. They have made some of these tights so that the seam on the rear end is so tight and it pulls it into the crack. Okay. So this is very deliberate, and then shiny material so that it's like shiny silver, copper, whatever, that it really, like, you can't help but it's like a flash that you need to look, and this is walking down the streets of Vancouver or any big city or at an airport, whatever. I've seen that in multiple places. So I was saying how I was just disgusted by these standards that have dropped to that level. And what my nephew said, who was quite indoctrinated apparently, he said, "Oh, Monica, you're just not comfortable in your body. Like we young people, we're comfortable in our bodies. You're not comfortable in your body." And I just thought, what is this? Am I hearing correctly here? That's the indoctrination that took effect in him, that he thinks that's just fine and good. Because if we have any objection to it, it's us. We're just not comfortable in our body. There's so much wrong with that. I don't even know where to begin. And I don't think for the purposes here that we need to go into that, what's wrong with that. But I'm just wanting to tell that story. It kind of relates to what you told about the people going in without any clothes on to their work, and the psychiatrists were getting them to do that. And they're creating some kind of a new normal.
Yeah. Well, over here, I suppose you've got it in Canada. We got, I mean, I'm a cyclist, yes. I'm a motorist and a cyclist. So when I'm in my car, I dislike cyclists. And when I'm on my bike, I dislike motorists, you see. So it's a kind of, I don't know what kind of you get. I bet the psychoanalysts are looking at that and thinking, oh, yeah, she's a bit mixed up, isn't it?
22, they call it.
That's right. Now, I wear jeans and T-shirt. I hasten to add, not in this weather, because I don't go cycling in this weather. It's a bit cold. But no, seriously, I wear jeans and T-shirt, so cycle. But you get these blokes wearing these really tight air things, old boys as well. It put me off of eating sausages for a week. I mean, it really is awful when you see them. And they got off their bike, they come into a shop, like
a wetsuit.
Yeah, sort of. That's right, no underwear or anything like that. And I mean, as I say, it's going around the supermarket like it. You just about buy some sausages. No, I don't think so. But there are people that sort of haven't got standards, and also this idea that it seems this self-mutilation where people want to put stuff all over their face. I mean, I saw a very pretty girl with tattoos of crap all around her face. I mean,
uglification, right? It's an uglification that is pushed.
It's ugly, and it's not attractive.
No, that's
ugly.
right.
It's more extreme as time goes on, too.
Yes, it is.
That's right. I mean, I was sitting in a cafe once when my father was alive. He was in a wheelchair last years of his life. I mean, wheeled him, and I was sitting opposite my dad. Dad was looking at me. And this fella came in, all these piercings all over him. And I literally had to change over to my dad's side because it was literally put me off my food. It was horrible. Seeing all sort of piercings going up and down as this bloke's
Wow.
trying to make. But what is this uglification? You look at people in the 60s and 70s, like, or Cary Grant, for example. He always believed in dressing smartly. He said, because other people have got to look at you. And you see him, he was a man. And you see, who is that French woman? She's still alive. I can't think of her name now. But she was the French beauty. I can't. And the French government have taken busts down of her because Brigitte
Bardot?
Bardot. That's right, Bardot. Because it was extreme right wing. So all the busts they had of Bardot, they've taken down. Now she was a lady. She was very pretty, very attractive. When you look at people, men try to look handsome and women try to look attractive. And she was attractive. And even if a woman was ugly, at least she'd dress herself up to look attractive. But now, when you look around, people look like prisoners of war whose uniforms have just got threadbare. That's what they look like. A degraded sort of like this, with all this threadbare stuff on, all sort of. It's sad.
Actually, yeah, it's being pushed. This is part of the, those who are behind all this, the bankers, shall we say. I know you're
Yeah.
careful about it, but they are pushing this degeneration of our culture, of the degeneration of our people. Also, the feminist agenda has caused women to somehow lose their femininity,
Yes.
and it's a really destructive force. I noticed it when I was in prison, and I thought, boy, there were some really beautiful German women in there who were uglifying themselves with certain kind of haircut that they gave themselves. And even there, they're always way behind North America in terms of tattooing, but in the prison there were, that was going on, and they wanted to tattoo themselves even there with pencil or pen. I don't know how that was, something that was kind of, I would say,
Like
dangerous, but
Well,
very ugly. They were uglifying
I agree.
themselves.
Agree
They
with
had
you.
beautiful genes, beautiful facial features, but they were uglifying themselves.
And why do you think the population's going down? There's more single people. I mean, Nathan Lucius says, we have discussed this issue between us before. I'm in complete agreement. People no longer have self-respect, it seems. My grandfather had
Exactly.
self-respect. He said, always keep your head up, shoulders back. My father, shoulders back, head up. And just literally self-respect. People don't get embarrassed anymore. This is another thing. People, you get embarrassed. But no, people are not embarrassed. And also, they've turned women into alley cats
Yeah.
and men into, with the morals of an alley cat, and men into sort of like breeding, like you'd look on a bull or a cockerel, they're sort of going round mating with anything. No respect. This is what they've turned us into, a kind of animal. Or admittedly, humans are animals, but something out of the animal kingdom. You get a bull to cow. It doesn't matter. There's no attraction there. They just, there it is. I mean, I'm not going to go into explicit details, but this is what they're trying to bring with our society, where nobody's got any. You have a partner for a couple of years and go on to another one. It's like you would use a can of beans. I bought a can of beans, I had another one, and this is. Do you find this in Canada a lot as well? And in America, Patrick, this kind of throwaway junk person that uses relationships. I had a relationship, and you get all this. Where's the word love come into it? Devotion? None. And I think the old ideas of love and devotion still work. And that's happened for years and years and years. You do still get a few devoted couples, but they're fewer than they used to be. What's your views on it, Patrick? Monica?
Devoted people, you have to have something that you behold and love, and you find something attractive to you, for one. And I think they really target people, especially the youth, because it's always a youth thing. They go after the fashion, and it's even going back 100 years ago or more. the fashion. Women tend more toward following trends and that sort of thing. Men do too, but women more so, it seems. And they target the vulnerable, the people who otherwise wouldn't. They know that they're not going to get the strong type of people, so they target the weak people who are self-conscious, and they try to make them. It's like advertising. It makes you, these advertising corporations, the propaganda that they put out, it's very sophisticated. It goes back to the history of like the Sigmund Freud and his nephew and that sort of thing, getting people to feel inadequate in order for you to come back to them and pay them money. It's like a psychologist. It's like a psychologist that wants to make you feel even, instead of helping to cure you, they want to get you to come back. So they say, well, you should leave your wife because that's, this is the thing to do. And then you leave your wife, and then suddenly your life falls apart even more. And then you're reliant on that psychologist even more. So
that's
there's
it.
a tendency that
It's like
goes on in there.
You're right. It's like in the 60s, we had this bloke Spock and things like how to bring up your children. Well, once upon a time, if you want to know how to bring up children, you ask granny or granddad. They knew.
Yeah.
And my mother asked her mother.
Same with home birth and things like that.
Yeah. And this is it.
So,
and by the way, I can hear some lovely Bavarian music in the background.
you can hear it.
Bavarian?
I'm so glad.
Yes.
See, I just unmuted, and I'm gonna
it's lovely, isn't it?
leave the stream because downstairs the music has begun, and I'm going to join in with them. But I just want to say, a couple of words before I go.
Certainly.
Is for people, this what we've talked about in the last few minutes. This degeneration and the the feminist movement, which has tried to destroy the family, and they've largely succeeded. But how do we counter that? There's one very simple thing that everybody should keep in mind. Women be women and be feminine, and men, be masculine. So that's huge, right? Mm-hmm. Women should not try to be butch. Women embrace your femininity, right? And there's my dog. He's getting antsy in the background too. Music happening downstairs. But so that's, young people have families, and I got blasted the other day from somebody, a man who was very, very bitter, and he's into, I guess there's this weird thing that the incel movement of men who want nothing to do with women anymore. And in some ways you can't blame them if they've been treated, just taken down to the cleaners or whatever. But hey, that's not going to solve our problems if they purposefully have no children, have no families. Like, this is what young people do need to do. The war on us includes not just killing us, but also preventing our people from being born.
That's right.
Right? That's a big part of it. So, okay, so there's
communicating. It's to break down communication and to cast suspicion on each other.
Yeah. And, I'd love to stay longer, but there's so much to talk about. But I also just want to mention about my brother, because we didn't talk about my brother, where he is.
Please do, yes. And please write to your brother as well.
He is in prison.
Yes.
He is in prison. You can find his address on either of those two websites, either freespeechmonica.com or truthandjusticeforgermans.com. On the political prisoners page, you'll find his current address. He's in Bernau in Germany. That's in Bavaria. And his case, he's in jail. He's serving time now. They transferred the case against him from Augsburg to where he is now. So he is actually serving time, but he's also awaiting trial at the same time. So they're going to load on all kinds of new, verdict against him for all the stuff he's said since 2022 when he got out after his big jail stint. So that's another complicated story, but I just wanted to remind people to write letters, cards, postcards, whatever, to political prisoners, and my brother is one of those political prisoners.
And you were a political prisoner. Yeah, but I must add that when you were a political prisoner as well.
I was in 2018. 2018.
Yes, I remember that.
Okay, so anyway, it's really good for the political prisoner to receive mail because it's makes a world of difference to their spirit, to their state of mind. And it also is important for the authorities, the so-called authorities, to see that people are noticing, the prisoner has not been forgotten. It's just so important. So you don't have to feel like, oh, I don't know that person, I can't really write them. That doesn't matter. When I was in prison in 2018, I got a lot of mail, and I got it from all over the world. 99% of the mail that I got was from people who I'd never heard of before, never known before. So there was just a lifeline for me. I can tell you it made the world of difference. And then I wrote letters back. It became my job in jail, is to write letters. I was doing that all day, every day. Anyway, so
Oh,
yeah, it was really wonderful to be on
people are
this
kind.
stream with you, Eric, and with Patrick, and we'll talk again soon.
Thank you very much, Monica. And we like your music. Well, I like your music. I think it's great.
I like your
And
music
have a
too.
great
You can hear
afternoon.
it, eh? That's
And
great. I'm glad you can hear it.
yeah, it's
Okay.
about 2:30, isn't it? Where you are, 3, something like that.
1:30. So it's Sunday afternoon
1:30.
here.
Excellent.
And
It's 9:30
yeah,
here. So
You'll
here we
have
go.
to
Thanks,
post some of your music somewhere sometime. I'm sure you
Yes.
probably do, but I'd like to hear more
no,
of it.
I've never done
No,
recording. Like I haven't
really?
entered a recording studio, but I'm going to soon. Actually, I'm gonna do that.
Even with your phone, that'd be kind of
Oh,
neat sometime
What
yeah.
for a
about
concert.
hang on about what about coming on this show with your fiddle? And seriously, because we had a fella, we had Survival Steve playing the guitar, and yours truly made a balls up and did had an echo effect on it. So there we are. But no,
Cool.
we won't do. So why not come on with you next time? Come on
Next
with your
time.
violin,
Next
yeah,
time,
and give
let's
us
do that.
do a rendering with that. So
I've
I've
done that
tried it.
once in a while on a show. I've occasionally done
Okay.
that, like, play a happy birthday or something like that or
Or
whatever.
could we have like a little tearjerker or something like that, or an intro? So it'd be quite nice, wasn't it? And do you do
Okay.
Bavarian music? Just
I do all kinds of music. Honestly, I grew up on classical. Classical is my foundation, and then I went into old time, went into swing, I went into bluegrass, and I improvise when I'm in a jamming circle. I'll improvise, but right now it's old timey music that people can dance to. Polkas and waltzes and
Oh,
two
lovely.
two stepping, and so
Happy.
they will
Happy
be
stuff.
doing that in the living room down below me. I'm up in the loft here, and I'm gonna
Okay.
go now so that I'm gonna join in on that.
See you, Monica. Have a great
Bye-bye.
afternoon.
It's been a
Speak to you
pleasure.
soon. Likewise.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Goodbye. Here we are. That's it. Hey. Now that was fantastic, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was
And
good.
I really enjoyed that. Now the thing is, as I say, I better add that this show doesn't necessarily agree with what people say on it, but we just like to have everybody's point of view, and because we believe with freedom of speech. And as I've said before, I'm on the side of the innocent person, whoever they are, and whatever they are. And I think that's a healthy way of looking at things. So whoever a person is, if they've been kicked down by totalitarianism, I'm on their side. And we're getting a lot of people kicked down, like Monica and Alfred today, for just speaking, just words. And that is horrendous. It really is. But because again, I believe in 100% free speech, and I don't believe in government. Because this is a question I put to people when they think I'm going to mention a religion. I say, what is the most lethal religion in the world? And the biggest religion in the world. Can you guess what it is? And it is not a conventional religion. Can you guess what it is, Patrick?
No, tell me.
Government.
Ah,
Because that's a religion. When you think about it, Kim Il Sung of North Korea, it's a religion. People are worshipping him. People worship false idols. False idol is government. That's a false idol. So that's the way I sort of look on it. That people
The
are
way I
worshipping
look at it too
false
is those people are going to be the ones who are judged the most by God. They're going to be scrutinized more for what they've
idols.
done
Yes,
than any other people. The lowly
that's what I don't.
won't be
Yeah,
as responsible for what they've done as the princes of this world, as it says in Scripture.
yeah. But you think about it. I mean, I'm not, as I've said before, my knowledge of religion is extremely limited. But it says, "Do not worship false idols," and to me, worshipping government is worshipping a false idol. And I think but you see people, they go, say, what is the largest religion that's the most bloodthirsty, kills most people? And they'll go, and you see their brain going, what's he going to say? And I say, government.
I had a feeling you were going to say that because
Yeah.
yeah, because it isn't what we'd call a normal religion, like the spiritual side of things. It's more
Well,
of, when we think of it, we think of like the Roman soldiers and this kind of thing. When you think of
and
government, because
you're right.
government's tied up with militias, with the word
Yes,
militia,
that's right. You're right there.
militancy.
Yeah. But the thing is that a gentleman just said then, I've lost it. Oh, yes, here it is. And Mr. H was government. Yes, he was. But I actually think the only way we're going to break this brainwashing that we need government is to do it in very small stepping stones. And at each point, make sure there's no psychopaths. And I think the first thing we've got to do is, without starting a witch hunt, separating predatory psychopaths, not all psychopaths, because most are harmless and some of them are good people. But the predatory ones that kill humans, put them on an island away from us. With infrastructure there, they can live their life out, do whatever they want, but away from us, where they're harmless,
I think that the government leaders that we have don't want polemicism. They don't want to be questioned for their actions and be able to sit down and talk to people, take questions and answers, and be put on the spot. They'd rather it be just you do what we say and that's it. The COVID thing is an example of that. Put on your mask and stay 6 feet away exactly.
Oh,
All
that's
the
right.
protocol. If you don't do it, we'll call the cops on you and have you hauled out and threaten you and beat you up. I saw when that was going on, I saw all sorts of videos where there were people getting killed, even, being thrown out of businesses by people. Just
That's
the
right.
worst part came out in humanity at that point. It was almost demonic the way that
Oh, crumbs!
people behaved.
It was. You could see people being little dictators. And Nathan Lucius says 3 biggest psyops used against humanity. This is his view: religion, Satanism, and money. And Gary Garner's made a very good point. What was it now? No, hang on. I've got all muddled up here. Oh, yes. Well, first of all, let's say, let's go back to Gary Garner. Oh, hang on. I've missed it again. What's happened? Excuse me. Here it is. I'm certainly not an anarchist. We do need leaders as bullies. This is Gary Garner's view. As bullies will always abuse their powers. Just look at lawless lands across the world. This is what's generally put to me, bullies. But look at who the big bullies are. The government are now using the police as their bullies. And why are there bullies? You see, when you look at countries that didn't have a government, for example, Poland, after the Berlin Wall came down, it spent 2 years without government, and most Polish people say it's the best 2 years they had of their lives. Argentina, when they had a financial crisis in 1990, things started to work, and the IMF realised that bloody hell, people are ready to wake up. They don't need government. But you see, the thing is that people can work things out for themselves. You say, we do need leaders, as bullies will always abuse their powers. But if you get robbed now and you call the police, they're not going to turn up at your house. If you're getting bullied, you call the police. No, the police are useless now. They work for the government. Look at visiting people who've said something naughty on social media. So there's no police force anymore. We haven't got law and order. So what are government there for?
You know,
You know?
you're back to talking about people that have tattoos and piercings and body modification type things.
Yeah.
I think that's done and encouraged on purpose so that people bully each other, so
Yeah.
that we look at those people as though they're like second class citizen. The idea that they're lesser than everybody else too. It's
Mm.
they it's a catch 22 like we were saying before, where the more
You
you
got
do it,
right.
the more you're shunned
Yeah.
or the more you're
Well,
ostracized from society. And it's same with men and women. I noticed in the past few months, even online discussions that I've
mm,
participated in on Telegram, where men are just suddenly, and same with women, they're just like coming out and being like, well, women shouldn't be talking in public and doing all this kind of stuff, and all women do is just try to divide people. And
mm.
I see that, and I'm like, no. Why all of a sudden is there this animosity between the sexes going on, and it's being stoked.
Yes,
It's being stoked.
you're spot right on. And I mean, regarding tattoos, I'm not anti-tattoo. I mean, some I've got friends who's got tattoos. I've worked with people
Yeah,
who's
I've
had
got
tattoos.
family and friends that have
Yeah,
tattoos.
they've
I
got
love
tattoos.
them just as
I
much as anybody else,
That's right. But it's the bloody
even though I
ones that
disagree
go
with
all
it.
over their well, yeah, but it's the ones that go all over the bleeding face and up here, they and ugly. I mean, men having them on their arms, sailors had them for years. Army people had them. It was a
Yeah.
common thing, but I'm talking about the ones that go over the top, the twats. I mean, there was one that looked like a bleeding teddy bear, got a big black nose and
Well, I saw
eyebrow.
the pictures you
Yeah,
had. That's terrible, and the
the woman
modifications
had her
of that
nose cut
woman with
off.
the nose cut off, yeah.
Oh my
I'm like,
god! And
"How
they
can
were
you
pretty.
breathe like that?"
They were
Like,
attractive people beforehand.
yeah,
To me, they've got a mental illness.
yeah.
That is the thing to
It's
me.
a
Now,
scale it's a thing because then they get there again, it's the ostracite, they become their own cult, so to
mm,
speak, and they become more and more detached from reality, and hence they just go overboard. It's the same thing
mm,
with the transsexual movement toward getting people to become so different and out there that they lose social contact with the most of humanity, and then
mm,
these people end up becoming people who commit suicide more often because of the bullying and that kind of thing, and then
mm.
that's not good either.
Well,
Yeah,
that's right.
I mean, as bad as people get, they're children of God,
Mm,
and you don't harm those people, and you try and help them. Say, hey,
mm.
let's stop dressing that way. You cut your
Well,
hair normally.
but they're not
God made you
happier.
the way He did. It doesn't.
Yeah,
You're not going to be beautiful like you see in Hollywood movies or things like that. But at the same time, that's not what it's all about. That's not what life is all about. We're all
that's
going to get
right.
older. We're all going to look shriveled and ugly eventually, and compared to our youth. And it's like they want us to be detached, even from like young people with old people. The way they
Mm,
do things in public schools, you're always with your own age group
mm,
and you never learn from the elders and have respect. Like in Japan, the elders are seen as like living monuments, and you
mm.
respect them and honor them, and because they've got wisdom that you don't have, experience that you don't
Spot on.
have as a youth, where you
It's the
can learn
tribal
from
one.
them and be able to talk to them.
Well, in the Amazon tribes, it's the elderly women, when there's a war, walk into the opposing tribe,
Make
and they
peace,
won't be touched to make peace, and they're not touched. That's honor.
right?
They respect the elderly, so they do not touch them. And
Well, yeah, like
they'll
even in the Native
yeah,
Americans, they wouldn't touch the women and children after the
that's right.
war. They wouldn't kill them. It wasn't their fault. They
Mm,
were,
that
they weren't the ones in the battle
well,
like the warriors were.
that's the thing. Now Alice Goulder says, "Please ask Paul." Now, we're not sure, actually, I think this is Paul English, to tell us about the biblical Great Divide meaning. Hmm. Well, next time he's on,
I'm not sure what that would mean.
no, I'm not so sure either. Now, where are we? Oh, yes, I saw a very good comment earlier. Where are we? But someone mentioned, you look at the school playground and you see the bullies. Yes.
Yeah.
Now, Now, there are bullies because mankind is flawed. Bullies exist before government existed. Yes, but then you look into it. Why are they bullies?
Well,
What
you
has
look at if you go back to scripture to Genesis, the account of Adam and Eve, they had two children, two sons, Cain and Abel, and God favored Abel's sacrifice to him, so Cain became jealous and murdered his brother.
Hmm.
It's jealousy and envy. That's usually
Yeah,
what happens.
but that is when people lack wisdom. Because as you get older, you realise, well, it's ridiculous to be like that. And I think that we all go through different stages. I've never knowingly bullied anybody. I've always been a little bit of a meek and mild sort of character. I have been bullied, but then that builds wisdom. And but I mean, who hasn't been bullied? I don't know. Do you know anybody that has not been bullied? I think we've all
No,
been bullied at some time.
absolutely not.
Yes. Now,
I would say
we've had.
the people in leadership and government are some of the ones that have been the most bullied in their life, and that's why they're getting revenge. It's like, there's this idea that the police become police because they were bullied in school, and they get their
Yes,
revenge by, their position, that their office that they have. But that isn't normal. That shouldn't be normal. You should have
yeah,
people who are just, that stand up for the oppressed. And
that's right.
that's why people have this idea of a good government, is because they see the need of people being oppressed to go after the people that
Mm.
are causing the oppression. And really, if you were to say what is a beneficent government, that's the beneficent government, if there is one.
Hmm. Well, that's right. You see, the thing is, going back to self-respect. Now, admittedly, when I go out on my push bike, I look like a bleeding tramp. And the
Yeah.
reason why I
Well,
dress in jeans and jeans and that is
comfortable.
because, well, it's not only comfortable. Cars throw up a load of shit and crap all over you. So
Yeah.
so you wear dark clothing, wear a pair of black jeans, so you don't show the dirt. It's just that's just practical. That's it, because you get shit all over you.
I
And
still think you should get an electric bike, try it out.
I might give it a try.
You
Yes, you
should
never
try
know.
you
I
should
might.
find somebody with one and say, "Hey, can I try that out?"
Yes, yes.
They're fun.
There's a lot of them around. One whizzed past me the other day, I mean, really fast, and I was actually keeping up with one in my car. They go so fast because
Yeah.
I think people suit them up a bit illegally, But I tell you what I like is these scooters, but they're not allowed in this country yet. Um, but people use them. But if the police catch you, they confiscate it to use for themselves, I suppose. I don't know,
Mhm.
but no, it's a weird situation. When now the other thing is when you look at smartness. Now, when you go to church, um, Patrick, I mean,
Yes.
do people dress in their Sunday best, or do they just dress in
They
scruffy jeans?
there again, it's a kind of a degeneration of culture, and I try to dress as best as I can for what I have in my wardrobe. I wear my Sunday best,
Hmm.
and I see in the summertime too often people dress like they do, like they're going out for a boating excursion or something.
Hmm.
They don't look
Yes.
like they're there for the purpose of being at church,
Well,
for
you're right.
dressing up for, and you're dressing up for other people as much as yourself, and it's comfortable. When you're dressed nice, it feels good to
Yeah,
be in that kind of clothing, and it's not stuff that you go out and you shovel manure from the pigsty kind of
that's
clothes.
right.
It's
Yeah,
different than that.
I agree with you. And also, do you find that if you wear a suit, people treat you differently? I found that a
They
lot.
Yeah, they do. I've
And
noticed that too,
eh,
just the way, like, a cashier will even
yeah,
consider what you are, what you, by your appearance, say, yeah, well,
well,
they're more likely to talk to you as well too. You're
that's
more
right.
likely to get conversations going with people,
Well,
because they see that you're doing it not only for yourself, but for them too, because they have to look at you.
well, you see, the thing is that I'm single, and I was talking to my neighbour, and she said, wear a suit, and you find a young lady. I said,
Yeah,
hey,
probably.
she said, wear a suit. She said, women will always. She said, take it from me. She's female. She said, "Women will always fall for men with suits." She said,
Yeah,
"A
because
smart
they see that
dressed
they
woman."
care about themselves.
That's right. She said, "You see this," and then she said, "You look down at their shoes, scruffy shoes, go away." She said, "Highly polished shoes." She said, "You've got highly polished shoes, suit." And she said, "You'll have them queue them up outside your door." So, ladies, remember, no ladders up at the window tapping on my bedroom window, please. But form an orderly queue, and that'll be fine. Okay, that's great. But now, I'll tell you another one. You've got a three-piece suit on. You've got a pocket watch, and you sort of, if you're say in the bank, and we don't have any banks around here because they're all closing down. I suppose is it in the same in America? Banks just closing, and because it's all becoming digital and all that sort of stuff. You don't have a
Um,
local bank.
yeah, we had our local bank, the one I did business with, move to the next town over, and
Mm.
then it changed ownership and changed names, and yeah, I've noticed that as time goes on, the online stuff becomes more prevalent. But I wish we had just banks, local banks, like
Oh
we
yes.
the town where
Well,
I'm in that I go to work at, we only have one bank now. It used to be two. It's a
really.
small town of 1,000 some people, so it's not like
Well,
a huge place.
when my parents were alive, I used to have to take them to the hospital near the end of their lives, and I can't remember the reasons why. But one day I was wearing a suit. I think I had a business meeting, something like that. I don't know. I can't remember. And and the NHS, they got a receptions thing. Is if you walk up to the reception, a receptionist will ignore you and they'll just carry on as if you're not there. And I think my dad was in the wheelchair at the time, and I had a three-piece suit on. So went up, and my dad was just round the corner, and I went up to the reception to speak on my dad's behalf, and the woman was doing the ignoring me, and I just got my pocket watch out of my and just looked like this at the pocket watch, put it back in my top pocket, and she looked up immediately. "Oh, yes, sir. Can I help you?" And she might have thought I was a doctor or a surgeon or something, because I know
Your time's important to you enough to look
yeah.
at the pocket
So
watch.
and it's just that pocket watch. I just sort of
Is that why people pay so much money for these Rolexes and fancy watches? It's because they know that it'll get attention from other people because it shows
Ah.
that their time's important enough
Well,
to
you've seen
spend
this
money
one,
on it.
haven't you? You've seen this one, haven't you, Patrick?
Yeah,
Shown you this?
I see it on the video. I haven't seen it before. Maybe you showed it before.
Yeah, and people think Berlin Olympics 1936. That must be a lot.
Oh yeah,
a lot.
you did show that.
There it is.
Yeah.
It's about £4 off of eBay, and it's a fake, but it's all
Oh.
brass. It's good quality, and it's got a star there, by the way. So
Yeah.
what you alluded to there, but it says here Berlin 1936. It looks authentic. It looks very authentic, but it isn't. But again, that's all brass, the casings, and it's a quartz inside, quartz wristwatch movement. So, but it's very well made, so you can't complain. But no, the thing is that I have found that I'm not a snob. Don't get me wrong. I hate snobbery. I loathe snobbery. But there is something, about it. Now it was this Nathan Hachi says Nathan Lucius, the NHS offer wigs. I haven't got the right diagnosis. I'm happy bald. Really, you get a free wig. So you go, good morning, But how many people? I mean, when you go out and about, the only person I've actually seen wearing a suit is an undertaker, and that was it. Really.
Yeah,
Luckily, I was
in
not
my
visiting
town.
the undertaker. Yeah, there's a shop. The bloke came out of it. But do you see how many times do you see a person in a suit now?
You don't.
Very rare. Females and males. I mean, you get women in women's suits, with sort of like nice skirts and things. But no,
And you don't see uniformed people very often unless they're police. You'll see maybe if you went to a clinic, you'd see nurses or doctors who might wear something a little bit to show theirselves. Otherwise, like the local vicar, as you call them, the priest.
Yeah.
Wearing his collar and his
Oh yes.
jacket.
But no, in the hospitals or They actually, the women, the nurses, look like as if they're wearing their pajamas.
Yeah, they
They've got
do.
horrible, sloppy outfits on, and they're horrible.
Yeah.
Nothing like nurses of years ago, where they were proper matrons and.
Well, you know that here we have this famous clinic, the Mayo Clinic over in Minnesota.
Yeah.
And that started out as a convent of nuns.
Really?
So a lot of that started out as religious institutions, because that's who used to take care of people, were the religious institutions. Just like in your country, you
Yeah.
had the abbeys and the monasteries.
That's right.
So
Yes.
and you even had places where you could go and rest, and they'd take you in. Like every 6 miles or so, you'd have something like that, where you could find a place
Yeah.
with Christian brothers, or people that took vows, poverty, chastity, and obedience, where they would take you in and you'd help fix you up and do give you a place to rest. They had
Well,
purgatory societies.
that's right. People looking after other people.
And you know what? Another thing
I worked
about
on a
money.
project.
Another thing about money that's kind of always interested me was the whole thing of the Protestant Revolution with Martin Luther. Like, what were
Yes.
indulgences that were so bad, and why did we go from using indulgences to money? Because that's what I think that was his complaint, was that the church had control of the indulgence system, and hence couldn't, there was corruption. But then
Yeah.
when we went from using indulgences to using modern money, paper bills and that sort of thing, like what was that all about? I don't know enough about it to be able to say, but I know
Well,
that after that
IOUs.
things changed.
Well, the thing is according to Nathan Allenby, who was on a couple of weeks ago, before the Industrial Revolution, people very rarely used money because most of the time
Right.
it was bartering.
Right.
And really, all paper money is IOUs, because it was the goldsmiths that would look after your gold, and they wrote IOU note. They realised it was cumbersome for people to pick up their gold and transport it over to someone else.
And they write
they
too
wrote-
many of them.
That's right. So they wrote IOU note, and that's all that you have. That's what a banknote is, because it says "I promise to pay." The bearer, the sum of. And it used to be the sum of gold. You could go to the Bank of England and put.
Well,
paper
you know what
money
an
over, and they give
indulgence
it gold.
is?
Can't do it now.
An indulgence was the amount of time after your death that you would have to spend in purgatory,
Mhm.
which is like hell until you went to paradise, to heaven, right? Okay, so it seems to me a little odd way of doing things, but at the same time, it was a means of doing transactions. I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, I'd like to look into it more and find out what that system was all about pre-industrial revolution.
It
where
would
they-
be interesting.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say is, changing the subject a minute, George has been kindly sending me some smutty gags. Thanks, George. And I think people might be missing the smut on the Mondays, so I might revive the smut tomorrow. So I might have a smutty day tomorrow. So watch out for the smutty gags, But the thing is that I think that what is happening in society, I've got a feeling things will turn around and more people will try and look smart again. I really do believe that.
Yeah, I want to look smart again.
Well, I'm a scruffy sod.
I don't try to dress like a slob, but sometimes I dress for comfort instead of
Same here.
style. Comfort.
But I'll tell you what,
style.
I'll never
Of
wear
course, it's more money. It's more money,
Jogging.
but at the same time,
That's
you
right.
get what you pay for, and it
Well,
lasts
eBay-
longer.
It's surprising how cheap suits are on eBay. I think they kept them over from China because they used to be very expensive suits.
Part of it too is they don't have tailors or haberdasheries like they used to, where you go in and they
That's right.
measure you. Because a lot of
Oh,
people
no.
probably couldn't even tell you what their measurements are.
You're right. Yes.
So
you're
if I
spot
ordered
on.
a suit, like I've been looking at a jacket from the Hebrides, made of wool,
Oh yes,
the Harris
I have
tweed
that.
type stuff.
Mhm.
It's spendy, about
Mm.
300 quid for a decent
Yeah.
jacket. And at the same time, though, it's like you need to know your sizes because if you're going to ship it overseas, you got to make sure that it's spot on
Mm.
as far as your size. Otherwise, you're going to be returning it, and the price
Well,
is terrible.
I always go one size up.
Yeah, that's a
I
good
mean,
good way to do it.
this pullover is one size up.
Well, you
Yes,
can
and
always
it's
get a
very
tailor
good.
to tone it down. You can't do that the other way around if it's too small.
Well,
Not enough
I've got
fabric.
a 1941 Singer sewing machine, which I inherited from my parents, and I do my own alterations. Seriously.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I kind of either enjoy it really, trousers and things like that, because I had some trousers a little bit too flared, so I just took them in. And you can, it's not that difficult. But what we've got coming up, we've got a lot of guests. People want to be guests on the show. And
Yeah, I'm gonna
we've
have to sign off here pretty soon anyway. Just so you
okay,
know.
well, very, very quickly. Monday tomorrow, it's an open door. So anybody, so you're welcome on tomorrow, Patrick, if you're free. And on Sunday, next Sunday, it's the bowler hat farmers coming back with, and we're not talking about the government. We're talking about toxic vegetables. And then Survival Steve will be on the next day. And then on the Friday special, Survival Steve will be back. Then we got the corporate yogi coming up, who's the Greg Garrett. And then we got astrologer, Yes, John Starkey. Now, John Starkey used to be on LBC with Clive Ball, and he's on there for 4 years, and he's one of the best. And I'm having to pinch myself to realise he's actually coming on. So if anybody wants to know whether they're going to find a pot of gold at the end of their garden or whatever it is, that's the man to ask.
Is he related to Ringo? Isn't that
No, I
Ringo's
don't think
last
so.
name, Starkey? Richard
I think it
Starkey?
is. Yes. Well, yeah, because his name isn't Ringo, really, is it? And then we've got Ben Emlyn Jones coming up. Something going on up there. So there we are. So we've got a lot of guests coming on, and I'm trying to get Dr. Myhill back again, which should be good, and an American doctor who's alternative as well, who does not believe in eating wheat. So that's an
Oh.
interesting one.
You should
But
ask him about soy flour. I've noticed, I was
wouldn't touch
listening
it.
to Soapbox last Wednesday for the Shelley Tasker show, and they were
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about how soy is used as a filler in things that use flour and bread and that sort of stuff, where it never used to be. And
Really?
it's not good for you to eat just raw soy that hasn't been fermented. Like the Japanese, Asian cultures would ferment soy before they consumed it. Whereas you
Really?
just adding it as a flour and the way they use it as a replacement of lard in cooking is just it's not good for your digestion. So
That's good.
you should
Oh,
ask them
now
about
name.
that, the fillers
Uh,
that they use.
oh, I will. I'll make a note. Just one moment, because you know what? I got a memory like a bloody sieve.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, you probably have a memory. It's just your recollection gets shot because
uh,
you can remember the things once you recall them, but once it's like the difference between RAM and ROM
that's
memory
right.
in a computer. It's your ability
Well,
to process things on the spot.
I've got a strange memory because I mean, on the drawing board, when I drew something out, I had a photographic memory, and I'd
Yeah.
be able to talk about a drawing, giving all the dimensions from memory. I still can, but other things, I think I've got lazy memory now. Nathan Lucius says, "Can we do a show on how easy it is to offend people these days?" No, sod off.
Think
I'm
ahead.
joking, by the way. But yeah, if you're free tomorrow, mate, you can come on.
I
And
might pop in the second hour
yeah, why not? And
or sooner.
so- yes, but yeah, why not? We could call it a fence, couldn't we? Or a gate, one of the two. Anyway, shall we sign off now?
Yes.
And it's been great show. Thanks for coming on, Patrick. Thanks for Monica. And hope she can come back on with the old fiddle type thing.
Yeah, that'll be
And
fun. Get her to
if
do that.
YouTube haven't kicked me off, or I haven't been arrested for saying naughty things, we should be back tomorrow evening, same time, same place. And I'd like to thank everybody that sends me emails and comments. Now, if I haven't answered your comments or haven't answered an email, please don't take offense. It does take a little bit of time, but I believe in answering. If people have taken time to send me something, it's only fair that I should answer them. And I think that's, because without our audience, but hang on. They're still talking about Y fronts. So a lady asked, do men still wear Y fronts? Yes.
What?
Y fronts. You know
What's a
Y
Y
fronts?
front? I'm an American. That might be a British thing.
No, right. Was it? What's his now? It's a British thing. Yes. Fine. I'm starting off with my tail between my Y fronts. Y fronts are underpants.
Oh, okay.
But they're with a Y
Briefs.
at the front. Briefs. You know the ones with the lot of Y thing in
Yeah.
front of them.
Yeah, briefs.
Yeah. So briefs. That's it. And apparently they were invented for the RAF during World War II. So I heard.
Oh,
But that's why they would call them Y fronts. That's it. But you call them briefs. It's like you call trousers pants, and we call underwear pants, which is a bit weird, isn't it? That's a weird
that
one.
happened?
Yeah, it's strange, isn't it? And the other one is, so is it the hood, which is the bonnet, and the trunk is the boot.
The boot, yeah.
It's a very odd thing, isn't it? It's a sort of an American English different. I got used to that now, but what gets me is why you call dollars bucks.
Bucks because of I think it goes back to the Indian French trading and the Brits trading for buckskin.
Yeah. That's interesting. Because over here, a dollar was a slang term for half a pound, which would be, for a pound was 50 pence now. But a dollar when we had old currency, we had a 10 shilling note. So you go to a market and you say, well, how much is that? And the bloke said, I'll give us $1. And that meant 10 shillings.
Well, Russian language, dollar, I think we get it from the Russians because the word dollar means a share of something.
Really?
Like a stock,
That's
you'd have a share. So a dollar would be
I've learned something from...
Or like the dole, the word dole, like to dole out a certain thing.
Dole out.
You get a
That's
dole.
Interesting. Because buckskins, I've never thought of that. That's brilliant. I never realised that.
Yeah, buck. Yeah.
Where do we get quid from? I really do not know where we got.
Where you get that? Yeah, I don't know. I'm just.
I don't know either. So anybody knows, the next tomorrow night's show knows where we got quid from.
I remember that scene from Barry Lyndon where he's infatuated with his cousin, but his other cousins are like, wait, we're gonna make money off of wedding her to this British soldier and make so much quid. I just remember that scene.
Yeah.
The
because
in the beginning,
the director Stanley Kubrick, he lived in England, didn't he? His daughter was, I think she was brought up here.
Yeah, he was Polish immigrant into New York and then moved to Britain after he started filmmaking.
One of the I don't rate Spielberg is a good filmmaker, yes.
Well,
but I'm afraid that his first one was
not the one that makes it. It's the studios that make it. He's the director, yes, but most of these modern directors, I don't have much respect for what they're doing. It's not like the old ones like David Lean and all them where they were good at. I mean, don't get me wrong. A lot of these movies are very well made, but it's a team of people.
You're right. I still think the best Spielberg that was ever done was Duel. Duel was a very good film. I really enjoyed that. What was it? Have you ever seen Duel? Duel, no. Guel. Wow. I think it's free on YouTube now. Oh, it's made in 1972. It was his first. And it was about a chap who was just driving along.
Duel,
that's it. Duel.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. With the AC/DC soundtrack, Highway to Hell.
Did it?
Is that the one?
No.
Oh, okay. Well,
It's a
maybe.
bloke who overtakes this oil tanker truck. And he's
Yeah.
driving along in the Midwest somewhere, and suddenly this truck comes right up behind him and starts tooting his horn. And it's a brilliant film. You must see Jaw. It's a
I'm pretty sure
fantastic
it's the
film.
same one that I'm talking about.
I
It's
think
been a
they play
while since I've
AC/DC.
seen it.
It was early 70s. It was made,
Yeah.
but bloody good. It really was. You
I think
know,
that was his first movie, if I'm not mistaken, feature.
it was his
Yeah.
very first film. And what I like is I think it's Dennis Weaver was in it. The thoughts that go through his head are what you would be thinking. You know, you think, okay, you know, things are going to be okay. I'll get back on my car. It should be okay. You know, and he thinks he's lost this lorry, and he's driving along, and he puts the radio on, and there's all of a sudden it comes right up behind him. You know, as you see, and it was very clever the way it was filmed, and it was a made for television apparently. It's not one that went round the cinema.
Yeah.
But anyway,
All right. Well,
thanks, Patrick, and
Yep.
good
God
night,
bless.
everybody, and thank everybody that sends in things, and that is much appreciated. And also, we're almost up to 300 on Facebook subscribers, which is pretty good. And for some unknown reason, my Telegram channel is going down. Don't know why.
I don't know
Well,
why
on Facebook,
either.
it's going up. It's weird. But anyway, pass the
Probably
word
because they're
round.
not banning people as much
Could
as they
be.
used to.
Yes. And you never know, we might get Anorak on tomorrow night. So there we go, Paul. So there we go. Thank you very much, everybody. And remember, whatever happens, have a bloody good laugh. And good night.